In this video, we'll show you the complete rundown of how to install the Platipus S6 ARGS 3-meter anchor using a hydraulic hammer. Unpacking the gear, you'll find S6 anchors with 3-meter wire tendon, load plates, wedge grips, a hydraulic hammer, power pack, hydraulic hose, hex shank, drive rod sections, drive end, and if required, a coupler, SJ5 stressing tool, stressing jack, the rod remover pair, rod remover clamp, tendon cutters, a digital load cell, D-shackles, test sheet for recording the loads achieved. You will also need the following customer supplied items: a tape measure for recording the extension achieved. Note that extension refers to the distance the tendon extends out during the load locking phase. This will be covered off in more detail later in the video. Spray paint, Stanley knife, ear protection, safety glasses, gloves, a clipboard and a pen, Cirtex turf reinforcement matting, ground staples, a petrol can, and a grease gun for lubricating the drive rod ends. Lastly, it is recommended to have a 2-person crew. Next, we'll explain the details of the power pack and hammer. The power pack uses 4-stroke petrol. Remember to always check the oil level. Firstly, make sure the hydraulic pump is turned off. Remove the end caps from the hose fittings. Connect the hose extensions to the power pack and connect them to the hammer's hose pipes. You should feel each connection click in place. Make sure the petrol switch and the choke are open. Switch the power pack on. Let the power pack run for 5 minutes before switching the hydraulic pump back on. Let's get started with the installation procedure. Before driving the anchors, always check for surfaces that might be buried below the surface. Place your Cirtex turf reinforcement matting and secure with ground staples. Spray a mark where the anchors are to go in a diamond-shaped grid pattern. Note, for installation on steep slopes, we recommend seeking professional advice to determine whether rope access is required. The next step is to assemble a drive rod set. When connecting the drive rods, clean and lubricate the threads with grease as you go. And note, these drive rods have a left-hand thread. Firstly, connect the drive ends to a single drive rod section. Depending on the drive rod setup supplied, you may also need to use a coupler if a male-to-male fitting is required. Connect a hex shank to the other end. Once assembled, all sections should be hand-tight. Unlock the hammer. Slip the hammer over the hex shank, then lock it again. Slip the anchor onto the drive end, pulling the other end of the wire towards you. Make a small slit into the matting. Drive the anchor into the soil at the specified angle until only the top of the last drive rod section is showing. Unlock the hammer from the drive rod and lift it off. Because each drive rod is usually only 1.2 meters and these anchors are typically driven to 2.8 meters, additional drive rods will be needed. To do so, remove the hex shank. Take care not to pull out the drive rods from the soil as they could disconnect from the back of the anchor head and make it difficult to drive it deeper. Connect another rod section. Reconnect the hex shank. Slide the hammer onto the hex shank, lock on, and continue driving the anchor in. Repeat this process until you have reached the desired depth. Please note, if you hit something within the soil that doesn't allow you to keep driving the anchor in, we recommend trying for another 10 or so seconds in case it is only a small rock that could be dislodged. If you fail to drive the anchor in to the desired depth, and driving in another anchor close to your first attempt. Once you have reached your specified depth, disconnect the hammer and follow the next steps to remove the drive rod sections using the stressing jack. Firstly, connect a D-shackle to the stressing jack, then connect the rod remover clamp using another D-shackle. Place the stressing jack over the exposed drive rod section. Remove the locking pin and slide the clamp over the rod, making sure the long edge is facing the slope. Reinsert the locking pin and lock it in place. Slowly lever the drive rod section from the ground using the stressing jack. Once you've reached the top of the stressing jack, unclip the release to loosen it. Be careful, as it will likely be under a lot of tension. Lower the lever head and reset the release. On uneven ground, you could use something as support underneath the stressing jack foot. Keep levering until the original drive rod feels loose, removing each other drive rod as you go. Fit the rod remover pair and remove the final rod section and drive end. Fit the load plate, remove the safety cap. If the end of the wire tendon is twisted or frayed, you can trim this off using the tendon cutters. Slip the wedge grip over the wire, slowly rotating it anti-clockwise and lock in place. Load lock the anchor using the SJ5 stressing tool. Please note, this tool will provide a hand-tight tension and is rated to 3 kN. Although this is suitable for the majority of projects, if your engineer requires the load to be quantified and recorded, please contact your local Cirtex representative for advice. Remove the excess tendon and repeat this process for all other anchors. Once the installation is complete, switch off the hydraulic pump, turn off the power pack down the gear and return it to Cirtex.